If you've been thinking about buying Beyblades, you should definitely check out Mall of Toys. They have a huge selection of Beyblade X, including CX pre-orders, and better yet, they will price match, so you won't find it anywhere cheaper. USA customers also qualify for free shipping at the moment with international orders available. They've been a great source of Beyblades for the community, so if you need a trusted seller, I highly recommend you check them out. To get 5% off your order and help the channel going forward, check out the link in the description. So in today's video, I'm just going to be covering my experience from the OPE UK Games Expo that happened last weekend. And while I wish I could say it was an overall amazing time, sadly that just wasn't the case. For those who don't know, OPE is essentially the highest form of competitive Beyblade X, or at least that's what it's advertised to be. And with the current situation on Worlds regarding Hasbro, this is quite literally the highest form of achievement you could earn playing Beyblade X in the UK. So with that brief explanation out of the way, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so pods and entry cost. So how the Friday and Saturday events worked was that players would pay £10 to enter a pod with around 6 to 10 people, and top 2 would advance using the double elimination system to the actual tournament later in the day, which would then be Swiss and then Top Cut. Now, the system itself wasn't the issue for most, but the way of entering. Those outside of the Scotland group of Beyblade X players were not only unaware, but no information was given to publicly about buying pods on the day, meaning that a lot of people, including myself, prepaid about £80 to max out our chances of making it through pods, which sucked because if you made it through your first pod, £30 has now gone to waste, as even if you keep playing and come first or second, no additional prizes or rewards were given, and your winning ticket would drop down to third if you'd already won a pod and placed first or second. So you were basically just playing to get your money's worth, which is a double blow in itself, as to even enter the tournament, any tournaments on any of the 3 days, you needed a EXPO ticket just to enter the building, which was £54. So you're paying £54 before paying any entries to the pods and nationals. And because of the hourly scheduling of pods going from 9, 10, 11 and 12, you couldn't really explore the venue for too long in case you missed your match, which in my opinion is horror, because most bladers went specifically to, play Beyblade. So this ended up being a added cost with no real value. And as most people know, getting any sort of food and drink at these big venues, places like NEC, they will rinse you for your money. So because you can't walk off, say like outside the venue to a little corner shop and get some cheap snacks, a lot of people just had to bite the bullet and get drained for their food and drink money. So yeah, the venue pick, I think, was just a terrible decision, to be honest. Now, this is the main bit: judging and awful call-outs. Judging is an incredibly important role when it comes to competitive Beyblade X, as it's a fast-paced game in which you need pretty good reaction times to make decisions on how matches end. In fact, there's now an official judge test on WBO to help those interested in learning the rules and start judging themselves. So please explain to me why one of the judges on Sunday for the national qualifier, and arguably the biggest day of the entire weekend, not only has definitely not passed their judge exam, and I can say this because even the hosts and organisers were very clear this was her first time judging. She had no prior experience and at times didn't know how to differentiate from an extreme finish and a regular KO at times, and basically never called out errors that were stated in the OPE official rulebook because, again, she didn't know them. Now, to the girl who helped with judging that day, if you're seeing this, please understand this is no direct shade towards you, and all of the players who were there and know the rules do not hold anything against you. This was purely on the fault of the organisers who put you in that place. But it does go to show a lack of effort with the organising. And even the judges who clearly had prior experience, quite frankly, had dog shit takes on matches. Whether it be not calling early launches, mid-airs, or simultaneous finishes, which actually had very defined winners. Especially in the games against kids, the rulebook was seemingly thrown out the window. And before anyone goes, but they're kids, this was supposed to be the highest stakes of Beyblade X competitive. Not your locals where people hold back against the younger players as it's a bit more casual, where even the opponent will coach the kid in how to beat their meta deck and things like that. yeah, it's not really an excuse, but stuff happens. Now, I am going to put on screen now, it's about a minute or two of just bad calls from my games, but I want you to keep this in mind. This was only my experience and my POV. So, if the amount of infractions I got added up to the total you will see on screen, just imagine how many there was overall, spanning across the dozens of players who attended on all 3 days. One player was actually talked badly about by some of the judges because, I quote, "he's only calling the errors when he lost." Like, losing points when you shouldn't is something to roll over for. Again, especially in such a high stakes event and one which is so expensive. But hey, even when the judges watched footage back, they still made blatant errors when finalising their calls. In fact, it got so bad that by the Saturday morning that rolled round, because of the experience on Friday, everyone had basically silently gave up fighting the judges and just played hoping the infraction went in their favour, which is an awful way to mentally go into a game.
Looks like it hit you. Okay. Do not grab the Beyblade. I will grab the Beyblade at the end. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go shoot. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Over finish, 2 points.
3, 2, 1, go!
eBay capital, man.
Oh, love that! 3, 2, 1, go! So it looked like there was a first hit which sent for the 3, 2, 1, go! Shoot! Contact! 3, 2, 1, go! 3, 2, 1, go! Contact! 3, 2, 1, go! Contact!
3, 2, 1, go shoot. You were recording that, weren't you?
Yes.
Do you mind if I have a look at that?
No, not at all.
1, go shoot. When ready? On 3, 2, 1, go. Contact.
Perfect, thanks for the warning. 3, 2.
1, go! Shit!
Contact over. Sorry, what's it?
2, 1,
Now this section is just going to be called "What the fuck" moments from others. Even with what's already said, it does somehow get worse. One player, who I won't bait out just because I don't want to cause problems for them, was told, "Now it's finals, judging will be more strict." Excuse me. Now you're being strict. Paying over £100 to get in, just to, 54 just to play, an extra like 100 plus on top to max out the pods and tickets, isn't worth taking the event seriously from the get-go. OPE Beyblade X has set the standards for themselves and for what they want to achieve, yet failed to live up to expectations when hosting some of the biggest UK events. Just an example is that the last qualifiers have had the same issues really, especially with the judge calls and early launches, which many at this point have tried to point out something as simple as just recording the games, or even like the first 5-10 seconds just for the launches, makes it so easy to determine early launches, late launches, hang the shroud mid-airs, as soon as the players launch, the judge can then quickly scrub through the initial launch. If there's no errors, obviously the game carries out. If there is, the judge can immediately put their hand in, restart the game, and it just makes the day a bit more fluid even with the infractions in place. Yet still, no judge took any initiative on this, and even when players asked to have footage checked, they were ignored and basically told to charge it at times. Even in the final match, early launches took place with no repercussions.
I'm gonna do the countdown. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go shoot! We have
Which to a point makes you wonder if certain players are getting special treatment. Now, bold claim, I know, it's probably not the case, but to a degree many can't help but feel that way, at this point anyway. And even those who turned up just for Sunday, as it was no pods, just a regular qualifier straight into Swiss, then Top Cup, immediately picked up on the judging and only wondered what it was like for the rest of us days prior. Which just goes to show how blatantly bad these calls were if people who were only there for like an hour or two during Swiss saw the amount of errors they did. Now, final thoughts. If I'm being honest, if it wasn't for the group of people that I travelled with to the event, to stay in the Airbnb, and along with the other friends who we met up with during the weekend and just hung out around Birmingham with, it would have felt like a bigger waste than what it already does. So for those who were from the London scene who came, big love to you guys, because we definitely made the most of it. But that's really all I can say on this. Although I do expect more videos on the topic to come out over the next week or two, just because there was a fair amount of frustration built up over this. And at this point, it there needs to be big changes regarding a lot, because even on the WBO pages where these events are listed, they're all set to ranked, and the challenge goes to like the BBX rankings on challenge. So not only are they not following like WBO rules, they're not even following their own handbook. So I really don't understand how it ends up being ranked, because for a lot of organisers in the local scene, if there's like one small error on the post or the event, there's a moderator on there like immediately like, hey, you got to change this, or you got to change it to unranked, etc, etc. So I think because it's just like a organisation instead of, you know, one person who's just passed their organizer test, I think they're getting a lot more leeway and a lot more leniency when they really shouldn't, if this is how the events are going to turn out. If you did attend, please comment your thoughts on the overall event. It'd just be nice to see a different viewpoint. Maybe you had the same issues, maybe you didn't. But yeah, just interesting to see. Not much else to say from me. So yeah, take care, letters. If you want to grow the old collection you found rotting away in the basement, or even from scratch, Base Station has you covered. Although Burst is over, they still stock a few select models along with Beyblade X and a ton of Metal Series Beyblades, from Metal Fusion all the way up until Fury. So if you're looking for a trusted and reliable source for Beyblades, check out basstation.com and use code SOLICAL for a discount at checkout.